with Kevin Harvick, who I feel like we just talked to from Victory Lane at the Brickyard. So I thought, yeah, it is a good thing. Yeah. But what can I ask you that's different? Maybe you can give us a representation of what this is all like. You guys do how many interviews throughout this media day with all different sorts of publications and sources?
Well, there is a lot of work, and there are a lot of things to do, but I feel like this is a lot more productive than it used to be. It's much more organized, and I feel like, you know, the way that NASCAR has gone about a lot of the things this year with the way that they advertise and the track promos and the week-to-week advertising has been very effective. When you look at the TV ratings and you look at the interaction with the fans, for me, coming here this year is exciting because of the fact that you've seen all the numbers and you've seen the effect of all the work that we're doing. So it is a lot of work, but it has been very effective this year.
So you're a veteran now. I don't know if I'm not saying you're old. I'm
I've
saying
learned
you're
that
a
a few
veteran.
times today.
But this is like your 10th straight playoff, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
And so how does it feel different this time?
You know, it doesn't feel any different, but I can tell you that, you know, I just feel like you know what to do, and the expectations are, you know, what you want to achieve, because we have. We've had our backs against the wall. We've won the championship. We've been to the playoffs. I don't feel like there's anything that should surprise us as we go through this, and I feel like that's a good thing, because there will be a lot of moments that you go through that are intense, a lot of moments that you go through that something's gone wrong, that you have to adapt and adjust and move forward. So the one thing I do know is that every lap matters, because every lap leads to the next one. And when every lap leads to the next one, what I mean by that is, you know, in practice and qualifying, where you qualify and where you start the race and where you finish the first stage, it's a constant progression. And I think, you know, approaching that as one lap at a time, instead of worrying about what next week's race is or what might happen or what could happen, let's just focus on the things that we can control now. And, you know, I think that has worked well for us over the past few years.
So with that experience, what is sort of the story of the four for this year's playoffs? You know, in the past it was, all right, you and Rodney kind of knew together, and then it was the big three last year. What's the story with your team going into this playoff?
Yeah, you know, I think much like I just said, I think it's been a progression of a year. And for me, these types of years are fun. Because you don't start off where you want to be, and you have to get in there and grind with your guys. I'm a small piece of information, but I feel like you have to be even more engaged than you normally are, because you have to get in there and fight for the things that you don't believe are right, fight for the things that you believe are right, be a part of, be willing to be, you know, put back in your chair to proven wrong, because you've got your nose in things that you don't really understand 100% with all the engineers and the way that things work. But, you know, in the end, you know, all those things started to come together, and the cars started to get better when they came out of the shop, and we started to execute better, started to understand and be good with the way that we raced, and understand what was acceptable, what was not acceptable. And I think, you know, changing the way that you approach how to race from what has been a championship formula over the past several years was difficult at the beginning of the year, because it is such a different thought process. And in order to continue to be relevant in this deal, you have to be willing to do that, and you have to be willing to change. And I think, you know, a lot of that has also drawn us closer together.
Have you ever seen a year that there was so much evolution from the start of the year to where you are right now in regard to how teams look at the cars and how you guys drive them?
Yeah, and I don't think so. And you know, I think as we went to the COT way back when, we still had the old style car, and we still had the COT, but it didn't seem like it changed so rapidly compared to the way that the season has changed this year. And you know, even the way that you race and the way that you approach things and the things you do, and then go into the simulator, I mean, there's just a number of things that have become so much different as to what's acceptable and how you go about it and how you think about a race. And you know, it's you know, for the past several weeks, we don't even do qualifying runs, because you're so confident in, you know, from where you were in race trim to where you go in qualifying, and the adjustments that you make to the car before the race, you know, are just so much different and so much bigger. The adjustments are so much bigger than what they've been in the past in order to make your car do something. So it's somewhat intriguing to me. It's very intriguing to me to see how much it's changed, because it also keeps you enthused and engaged.
Well, definitely heading into the playoffs with momentum. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.